Figuring out what those goals are. And it's been a really special group of women. So we're all excited that each of you are here and wanting to learn more or participate more. So our current leadership, we have, actually, Cara, do you want to introduce yourself? Cara's on the line right now.
Hello, my name is Cara Prizmal. I am currently the chair of Logic. I work with Action Gypsum Supply. I'm their innovation lead and outside sales specialist. I've been with Logic, not since the very beginning, but pretty close to early the beginning. And sorry I couldn't be there today, a little bit of a crazy family emergency, but we're all good here. So thank you all for coming. And I know Lauren and Taylor are just as passionate about Logic as I am. So I encourage you, whatever you don't get out of this, please feel free to reach out to us because we're here for you.
Thank you, Cara. We wish you could be here too. So I am Taylor Messenger. I'm the current co-chair for Logic. I am the assistant project manager at Harvey Builders. And I've been with Logic since, I think it was the second meeting. I wish I could say it was the first, but I think it was the second. And throughout my time at Logic, I've been on the student outreach committee twice. I think total we've planned, or myself have planned 3 or 4 of the student outreach events, and then I've participated in several other of the subcommittees as well. Lauren, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, if you don't know me.
We all know Lauren. Pretty honest.
I'm Lauren Carroll, and I serve ABC as the director of marketing here. I've been here going on 5 years. So I think it's crazy to say that. Honestly, I feel like it's going really fast because every day is like a whirlwind. Honestly, I think, whew, it's here and then it's gone. But yeah, almost 5 years, and yeah, I'm very happy to meet you all, know you all, and be had a privilege to work with you all.
Thank you, Lauren. All right, so we also have a PowerPoint up here that I'm going off of, by the way. I'm going to read off our mission statement. Associated Builders and Contractors of Greater Houston Women's Peer Group Logic represents the interests of women within the construction industry and assists with increasing the quality and availability to women that will promote a positive image to other women within and outside of the industry. So, I mean, basically, we've always been about women serving other women and lifting each other up in the most positive way possible. And it's really just like a giant support group to help facilitate your goals, to provide better image for women, to provide us into more leadership positions. And we'll get more into those by like our vision and our pillars and everything, but it's really women serving women and helping each other out. So our vision, we have 2 main points for our vision: to assist women who are presently in the industry through education, community, and networking programs, and to provide a channel for women to enter the industry workforce. So there's been times where we have like guest speakers at our meetings to talk about, hey, this is who I am and this is how I got to where I am. So if you want to as well, here's how you do it. And obviously we have our subcommittee events that all facilitate these vision items as well. So, and we also like welcome you encouraging other women in your company to join. This isn't like a one person per company kind of thing. It's about helping individuals just as much as for companies. We have 4 main pillars to our committee. Number 1, build up individual women by providing them with opportunities to learn and advance their own skill set. So this is, like I said, we'll sometimes have guest speakers, or you can learn about those things through a panel event or through our how-to events. All of these pillars and our goals, we actively try to achieve those through every single event that we do, or achieve at least one of our goals through each of those events. Number 2, build each other up by encouraging other women to take risks and reach their individual goals. So something that's a little bit less tangible, but like I said, this is a support group for everyone. Like if you have questions about how to do something or reach a position, we really encourage you to bring it up either in like an open table fashion within our meeting, or you can come to someone and say, hey, I'd like to do this. Who in the committee can I ask for some guidance? And really just a pathway to help you get what you want or where you want to be. Number 3, build up with each women's company by supporting one another's businesses. Some of this comes through our sponsorships, being able to promote your own business, and being able to share like in our member introductions or our breakfast introduction about who you are, so that, I mean, I've even learned about other companies that I can include on bids for new projects or work with, so it's a way to connect each other, of course, with our companies as well as individuals. And number 4, build communities by supporting the efforts of the construction industry. And that one is kind of just incorporated into like everything. Questions so far? Cara, anything that you wanted to add so far?
Nope, doing great.
All right. All right, so then going more specifically into our activities, in 2021, we have 7 events that are listed here. The ones in green are those that have already taken place. And each of these is directly tied to a subcommittee. So in February, we had a networking social. In March and April, we had college outreach events. One was in person at U of H, or sorry, at Adaptive Construction, thank you. A couple years ago it was at U of H. And then the April one was virtual, so that anyone who wasn't local to Houston could attend. In April, we also had community service event at the Houston Food Bank. And in July, we had the How To Poker Tournament, which was positioned directly before the ABC poker event, so that the how-to events are really geared towards like teaching us, okay, this is how you do some sort of activity, and then the next month is the ABC one. So if you're familiar with how to do it, maybe you've got a couple new friends that know how to do it, and you don't feel discouraged to attend that ABC event as well. In August, we had the leadership panel. And in September, we had the networking social with headshots. And then coming up in November, we had the community service events. So each of these achieves a different goal of ours, whether it's sharing advice or educating other women, like in the panel, about experiences and how to balance your life. Like Liz was one of our panelists, talking about how to get to a certain position. Or networking is, we do networking events within our own committee to help get to know your committee members more. And then there is like the how-to encourage you to not ever say no to an ABC event or any other kind of event because you don't know how to do something. Because we don't want you to miss out on opportunities if you're shy about the activity. Community service also, obviously giving back to our community. The student outreach is about reaching younger women and encouraging them to join the workforce, and then networking. So those are our activities for 2021, which is very similar to what our 2022 activities will be. But with every new set of subcommittee chairs, you can take our goals, which by the way are listed always on our logic meeting agenda. You can take those goals and kind of harness them in the direction that you want to go and execute the event in different manners so that we have different results or see different types of people or learn something different. So next up is our goals. Number 1, work with other associations such as NAWIC. Obviously, we love our ladies within Logic, but there's other groups that do some amazing things as well. So partnering with associations like NAWIC or partnering with ABC's Diversity and Inclusion Committee or ELITE, CMEF Girls Camp, Student Outreach, and host peer group events. These are all other groups, committees, associations that many members that are part of a Logic are also part of these other groups. And so usually we have some kind of overlap in our goals, and we all plan events. And so sometimes it can be really great to pair up for events and hit a wider audience or help each other out, partner up for new opportunities, things like that. And then assign additional leadership positions. So Nancy hit it really well in the meeting earlier. You know, we want to rise other women up, and in order to help facilitate that, we've provided 9 positions with this committee that you could be a part of, whether it's a subcommittee chair, one of the executive positions, or chair or co-chair. And like, these positions are so close to being your grasp, and it can help you in your own company's eyes. It can help you reach ABC board level and other positions that you want to get. It's a great resume booster. It's great for your own leadership boosting and development. And so those positions, you know, we also have 2 years behind us of women that have done those positions that can help provide feedback, like, this worked well for me, here was my lesson learned, and here's the schedule that you need, in my opinion, to plan this advice. And then you take those items and you do whatever you want with them, as long as we're obviously staying within some sort of guidelines. But it really is a great opportunity for you to develop, you know, leadership goals or create those events and execute those goals that you want to. Questions so far?
Are we gonna go through a list of the current subcommittees? I
Yes.
guess that's this.
Yes, absolutely. Perfect timing.
Great
Perfect
timing,
timing.
yeah.
Okay,
Did
so
you pay her to do that? What is it, 10, 20, 11?
all right, so these are the list of the subcommittees. Number 1, community service. Our current chair is Kimberly White. And like I mentioned earlier in our meeting, if you have interest in being a subcommittee chair, we need to know today, if you haven't already told us, because we've already been receiving those interests. But community service, pretty self-explanatory. That event is geared towards providing something back for our community. So in the past, we've done, or our upcoming one is partnering with Bridge Over Troubled Waters, which helps women and families that need aid through either maybe abusive relationships, something of that sort. We've also done the Food Houston Food Bank, where we made backpacks for kids. And I want to say there was a gardening, thank you.
And
So
then
that-
a women's shelter. We did it wasn't just food drive, it was like a blessing basket for a women's shelter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Can I chime in really quick?
Absolutely.
Hi, so I'm Kimberly. I've had the pleasure of chairing the Community Service Committee, and I will say it is one of the most fun committees that you can be part of. If you do have a heart for philanthropy or have a desire just to make an impact in the surrounding community, this position really gives you carte blanche in terms of how you want to donate, who you want to give back to. If there are causes that are special to your heart or to your counterpart's heart or to your company's mission, they give you carte blanche, and it can be a lot of fun. We usually see many ladies willingly sign up, and we have a blast. So it is a little bit of work, but the reward far outweighs the work that you put in. So it's a great community to be part of.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Any of you have questions for Kimberly as the current chair?
Is it women focused on community service, or is it just all over?
That was my question too.
Great question. No, it's for everyone. So in terms of, are you saying as far as the participants or the companies that we volunteer with?
companies that you volunteer with? I mean, I'm assuming Houston Food Bank is all over, but is it like women focused as far as the nonprofits that you?
No, you can do whatever you want to. It can be children based, it can be kid based, men based, however you want to help. It is true freedom in that. The only thing that Nancy does like for us to do, and she kind of put it on my shoulders this year, is to make sure that we do at least one event per year that's going to be kind of construction driven, whether it's painting or building or something like that. You would at least want one of your events to kind of, be roll your sleeves up and let's get a little dirty, if you will.
All right, thank you.
Yes, thank
You're welcome.
All right, thank you, Kimberly. So the second one is student outreach, and this is one that I've heard twice. And the goal is reaching out to students who are either interested in construction or may not know that they're interested in it yet, but it really does align with what they want to do, and explaining to them what their opportunities are and what we do, because as a student, you don't always know that there are so many different jobs in construction. So we, one of our first event was a bowling social night at U of H, and our second one was, I believe, virtual, because that's when COVID happened, right? So we had two panels where we had various Logic members, and if there was anyone else, was it open to other companies? I think it was just Logic members, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, just Logic members speaking, and then students joined virtually. And then the third type we had was a professional networking event where they would also, the students would also get free headshots. And then we had different focused conversations at various areas of our event. And then there was a second one paired with that where it was virtual for those who couldn't attend in person if they're not based out of Houston. So previously, we've been doing college events. We'd like to tap into high school outreach as well, but especially with COVID right now, it's been really challenging to figure out what schools are willing to do and how they're willing to have you interact, especially when the year just started. Everyone was saying it's all in person, but then the Delta wave happened. So it's been a little bit challenging to break into that high school or younger group, but we have a pretty good relationship with U of H and their student board members, and they work really well with us in order to do in-person events. We have learned that it's a lot more challenging to hit the schools outside of U of H because they're not as local. So we've also in the past traveled to A&M to do a panel to within their student meetings as well. And we would love to tap into other groups that we haven't been able to communicate with as much, mainly because U of H has an amazing construction program and they're so close. They're the ones that have had huge participation. But if you are interested in any of that, especially trying to tap into those other schools and other age groups, we'd really love to do that as well. One college event and one non-college event within the year. So any questions for me about student outreach? So the next one is the how-to subcommittee. So this one is all about, tutoring how to do these events that are so common within the construction industry. So we've had golf, we've had fishing, and clay shoot and poker. I think I got all of those. And then we've had a couple of repeats. And they're really successful and really fun. I mean, we would never want someone to turn down an opportunity to network or further their career because they're intimidated by what that social is geared around. And so we always have instructors basically, and we're paired up in teams or however that activity is arranged. And like with golf, we went to Top Golf and we had the instructors and we had drinks and food. And with clay shoot, we had instructors at each station and we had teams of 4 for logic that would all go around together. And we also encourage, if women are familiar with the activity, to go ahead and go as well, because it's just more people giving helpful advice or encouragement to others. Like I know when I was at the clay shoot, and I don't know that if she's on, but Tara Anderson and I have known each other for like since I started at Harvey, and she was on my clay shoot team, so she gave me tons of advice just as much as our instructor did. And it's nice to also hear like a woman's advice, because just physiology, like our bodies are different than like if we have a male instructor, they may not realize that there are some quirks to teaching a woman how to do a different type of sport or activity. And then Mackenzie is the upcoming chair. Is there anything you want to share?
I'm very excited to chair. I've been a part of the subcommittee or the social subcommittee previously. And I definitely think getting involved in this subcommittee is extremely rewarding. Sorry, there's like a flag. And just a really good way to get connected with other women in logic. And yeah, I would love for you to join my committee, because not only would I need your help, but I would love it. So yeah, I've got a couple ideas for the coming up how-to event in 2022, but like I said, I would love your help. So come join me.
Thank you. But anyone have questions? Chapter 2? The next one is the leadership panel with our current chair as Carlina Hernandez. So the leadership panel is just like it sounds. Every year we've had a different panel of about, I think it's typically 3 women. And not some of them are logic members and some of them are not, but they're all really inspirational women for their various reasons. And there's a different theme to go along with the questions for each event. And they will share about themselves, their positions, and it's, there's open questions and everything, but every single one of these panels has been incredibly unique, which is, interesting to know, just like in the basis, because every one of these women are different, and even if you ask the same question to all 12 or 15 that have ever done it, they all have really different answers. And so it's been great. And then of course with COVID, we talked about how lives have changed, and there was some people said, wow, my work life is way better, or my work home balance is way better, and then there were other people that said the exact opposite. So it's really great to see the really, really different perspectives. And there have been times where, someone hears this woman speaking and says, I really connected with what she said or what her goals are, and I want to get to know her better or have lunch with her or kind of see her as a mentor. So there's great opportunities in that as well. Any questions on the leadership panel? Oh, and I actually just remembered, I meant to say about the student outreach is that we do not exclude that audience to just female students, because we know that female and male students can gain the same benefits from hearing what we have to say. So historically, that one has always been both. Just wanted to add that. All right, the social subcommittee. Our current chair is Michelle Allison. And so the social has been, geared towards it. In the recent past, it's been geared towards really strengthening like the bond within logic women and encouraging more participation, because obviously your participation is what drives this committee forward and what makes it special. And so it's been a great opportunity for women to talk about how they participate in logic and just about themselves and their lives, and just to really basically create networking and friendships amongst each other. Any questions? on the social. Alright. So the next one is Women in Construction Week Task Force. This is a brand new one that we have not done yet, but we will have it in the upcoming year. So Women in Construction Week is in March, and also known as WIC Week. And in the past, a lot of other organizations will plan tons of events for it, I mean, 2 a day, or there's just so many. And so this position will be about how we can get involved in those events and sharing the information with our committee, so that if you want to attend a social in the afternoon, or a yoga session, or a luncheon panel, that you have those resources and Logic can be involved. Because obviously we are a group of women and we want to be able to share any of those resources with each other. Questions about that one? It'll evolve a little bit because it is a new position.
So on that one, I've been a part of NAWIC in the past, and in fact, I only parted away from them because I was working out of town. So I could try about reaching out. I know I have a few connections, and I could try to see if I can help with that one.
Okay.
If we don't have anybody else that volunteers.
Wonderful, thank you.
Or would love help, sure.
And then the next one is the ABC National Task Force that Nancy introduced to aid in the great expansion that our committee is having around the United States. And so, Nancy, do you want to speak on it for a minute?
You know, I pretty much touched on it earlier, to be honest. It's just to help create those resources.
Yeah.
So that way people, other chapters can literally go to the website, click on it, and get all those. And then, of course, have phone numbers that they can reach out to, but they get the meat of it right there at their fingertips.
Thank you.
I do have a comment though on all of the subcommittees. I just want to interject really quick. Really, the best suggestion I can give is get involved where your passion is. People cannot teach passion. People cannot instill passion. Passion comes within, but we can teach you how to lead. We can teach you, we can equip you with everything else, but we can't equip you with passion. So if your passion is to reach out to students, that's the subcommittee you need to get involved with. If your passion is community service, that's what you need to get involved with. That's where I find the most success. We've had a couple women and women do this in general, nobody's stepping up to the plate, so they're like, oh, I guess I need to do it because nobody else is. And if you don't have the passion, it just doesn't catch fire. And so that's really, there's enough women on this committee. Just come with the passion. We'll train you everything. We'll teach you everything else.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. That's wonderful.
So I saw on that list where new chairs are needed, but do all 7 of these need co-chairs right now?
So essentially, all of them for 2022 are going to be changing. Like everyone for 2021 will be stepping down. So, but we have sent out surveys about who would be interested in those, and that's the one that. Yeah, so
I already learned from Michelle Allison how you operate, so I'm still trying to figure out which one of these I want to.
yeah, so we have.
I see her name right here. Let me just cover this up.
Yeah, so the discussion, like the current subcommittee chairs have already been in discussion about like their successors for next year, because we've already had people submit their names. So that decision will most likely be made at the end of the week, which is why we would want to know now if you're interested. But they do change every year. And the best way, like my recommendation is, if you're interested in one of the chair positions, to be on a subcommittee first. Like if you're not able to do it next year for any reason, or you're not sure yet, be on the subcommittee and you can participate as much as possible, and then that is the absolute greatest segue to go into that.
And then how much time?
So I would say most of the events take 2 to 3 months to plan. And most people meet once a week virtually for an hour. So as someone who is participating on the subcommittee, not in the chair role, that hour is pretty much your time commitment. And then you do want to be willing to help set up a few hours in advance and clean up or pick up things that are necessary. But outside of that 1 hour, there's very little that you may need to do. Now for the chair position, it's a little bit more, obviously you have to plan for your meetings, but everyone may have a few deliverables in between, but it's not going to be huge. And it'll be generally for that 2 to 3 months time period. And as you saw on the previous list, we had, 6 or 7 events this last year. So there's usually about 2 subcommittees planning at one time at any given moment. So it's a pretty smooth transition if you want to plan one, and then once it's over, if you want to work on another, and then all year you're basically giving an average each week, and you're learning about the different committees or subcommittees.
And there's some ladies that are on all of them. So, and even them, it's not, because they're all spread out, they're not all that same month. So community service, student outreach, might be on the same time, how to, and leadership panel, that's all kind of at the same time, and social at the beginning of the year and kind of at the end. So they kind of are spread out enough. So if you wanted to try all of them and see which ones you like, you can do that.
Was that a plug? That was a big plug.
Yeah, and the subcommittee chairs will need to do more of the coordinating with their event location or their food or their drinks or their coaches, anything like that. But like for student outreach, for example, we would usually get more help from the subcommittee itself to reach out to people, because we don't have any direct relationships or contact information for students. So there's a little bit more emailing or calling student leaders or professors to figure out who's my right contact, that kind of thing. So it varies a little bit, but that's generally it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So best way to get involved within Logic. Oh, I'm sorry, statistics, thank you. So we have a couple statistics here. Overall, 21% of women that are part of ABC have been participating in the events, like the fishing tournaments, clay shoots, and golf tournaments. I don't know what the old statistic was, it has increased greatly over the last 2 years, but we would love to get that number higher.
It's almost doubled. It was previous to Logic, it was about 12 to 13%. So that was 2019. So if you know me, I like stats. So 2018, we were averaging, and I went and I did it back as far back as I could when we had our system in place. So about 2016 was as far back as I could go. Between 2016 and 2018, we were averaging about 12-13% of women who would show up to these big events like our breakfast and our fishing tournaments and clay shoots and golf tournament and all that fun stuff. And it was so small. So then when Nancy and ABC started the Logic Committee in 2019, we've almost doubled that representation. So people are starting to hear about us, and we're getting there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then 13% of all ABC members do have members in Logic. And then of the companies that joined in 2021 to ABC, 49% of them have a Logic member.
That 13%, that is based off of a membership of 432 companies. And then that 49% is based off of 100 members that joined this year. Yeah, sorry.
No,
I mentioned that.
all right, so bottom line, how to get involved in Logic. Attend our meetings. You know, we'd like you to attend as many as possible. 75% or more is ideal. And share your wisdom and best practices with the group. You know, at the end of the meeting, if there wasn't a chance for you to speak up then, we encourage you to say, hey, this has nothing to do with our agenda, but this last month I was doing this and I'd like to share. So there's always an opportunity to share more. Join the subcommittee. I think we've hit this one pretty well. Attend committee events. That's where you benefit the most, in my opinion, is attending those events, because they're all geared towards executing our goals and our visions. And so that's where you really meet people and learn and grow.
And they're lots of fun.
And they are so much fun. Thank you, Mackenzie. Help Logic connect with other associations or ABC committees. A lot of you are already on multiple of them. So we kind of already touched on it, but we usually have common goals. And so there's never any harm in connecting with more and more people. And then ask questions. If you want to do something that we haven't spoken about, ask us. Say, is this in the cards? Can this pertain to one of our goals? And odds are we can make it happen. So that is all. I'm sorry we ran a little bit over, but do you have any other questions? Anything at all? Cara, do you want to add anything? Okay, she has to hop off.
So if you want to join a subcommittee, do you just email? I mean, I just jumped on the social just by, I don't remember how that worked. I just had Michelle say whatever. It was one of those spider. Yeah. I was flying by.
That's how I got on there too, Betty.
Is it? I don't remember, Michelle. I just remember just all of a sudden it was an email. So how do you, what do you do? Not that I'm getting off, Michelle.
No, you're fine. So you can tell anyone. You can tell any of us in the email. You can tell Lauren, and she will connect you to the right person. Or the other great way is before a subcommittee will start planning, they will often make the announcement in our meeting and say, we're going to start having our first meeting in this upcoming month. Tell me now if you want to be a part of it, or we'll include it in like email blast that happens right after the meeting.
So
And
it's a fiscal year. It's a January to December.
for the positions, yes.
Okay.
So you may hold your position for 6 months before your event starts. But if it's scheduled in July. Right. Got it. Anything else?
So if we filled out that little form online, are we gonna be assigned to a committee, or how does that work?
So if you fill it out, you will be in consideration for the subcommittee chair role. But unfortunately, a lot more people have submitted or stated their interest than the positions allow for it. So in our next meeting, we will announce who those people will be. And if unfortunately you couldn't be that person, then we still highly encourage you to be on the subcommittee. And just, state your interest in however way, whether it's raising your hand or emailing to be on the subcommittee as a participant. And then if you're on that subcommittee, like the chance of you being able to hold that position the following year is higher because you'll have the experience of planning it once already.
So that was only for chair positions.
For the subcommittee chairs, yes.
So I'm gonna piggyback on that question. So for instance, if you have people that did the survey and let's say she was interested in the how-to and she entered that survey and all that, and she doesn't get the position, or she didn't want the position, she just wanted to get on the committee, who will be getting back in touch with her to make sure, to make that connection then, to get her on that committee?
I think that we already have note of everyone that's filled it out and what they requested. And so as we start to plan each event, we can reference that list for sure and email those ladies to say, hey, I noticed your interest. We're about to start. Do you still want to be on the subcommittee to help us plan? And I think probably email to those who don't get it in advance, so everyone knows in advance of our next meeting what the results were.
Yeah, for November 9th.
Yes.
Sounds great. Yeah, since that'll be the last one for 2021. Last meeting for 2021.
Remember our last meeting?
Yep.
Well, thank you all so much.
Great job,
Thank
Taylor.
you.
Great job.
Thank you for our virtual ladies